Good morning, everybody. This is Max Field. This is Dex Trader. Today is the 19th of April, 2018, and this is your daily update. All right, everybody. I'm finding it, and again, there's no swipe today. There's no process that's happening today, and I do apologize. I'm not trying to be melancholy and do that whole solution. I need you guys to understand that there is a process that happens here. And let me explain to you, for you DexFX folks, I want to apologize immediately. And I want to give you the scenario wrapped in, but let me give you just a brief synopsis of what has happened and why we did it this way. And you'll understand shortly, okay? And we sent out an email yesterday saying that we're going to make the DexFX copy system go away. And it may have been a knee-jerk reaction. And please bear with me. I'm not saying I'm going to bring it back, but I need to kind of do some more investigation as we go along, because here's what's happened. 2 weeks ago, I met with somebody that is a lawyer, is a very prominent lawyer, but also deals with commodities and futures and a few other things. And he made a statement as I was telling him what we were doing with the DexFX copy and how happy we were with the bots and everything else. He says, so how did the CTA investigation go? And I said, what is that? And he said, well, then you got a problem because you're breaking the law. You have to be registered as a CTA. I was like, okay, I know a lot of initials in my life. What is CTA? And he said a commodities trading advisor. And I was flabbergasted. I said, I don't know what that is, and let me go look it up. And when I did, I had to contact my lawyers immediately. This is a couple of weeks ago. It's taken this long to really get the information. But I wasn't worried because I knew that we had... I knew some conditions needed to be really secure before anything else. So when my lawyers started to really look, I mean, they went to a few things. Now, once we found out those few things, which I'll explain to you here in a second, once we found out those few things, there was only one choice for us to do, was to stop all accounts trading. And the only way for me able to do that was to remove the copiers from every single one of them. I couldn't actually go in and delete your accounts or do any of that stuff or take that stuff off. I had to delete the copier system in there for it. So when I stopped that, whether or not you were in a loss or what have you, and I'll explain what reparations are at the end here and what we're going to do, and so you can have a better understanding. All right. So once that happened, once we got the, hey, yeah, this is 75% sure that we're not doing it right. And even at that rate, even if there's a 25% chance we are, I wasn't going to risk that. I wasn't going to risk hundreds of thousands of dollars of legal action and lawsuits and all that kind of stuff, or high investigations from government agencies and dipping their toes and fingers and everything that I have. I didn't want that. So immediately we said, okay, let's stop everything. Let me put this information out. We tried to do it. We erred on the side of caution and not risk on the side of adventure, okay? Because we're doing well or making things happen. So when that happened, I immediately shut everything off and then talked to you. I didn't talk to you first and then shut it off. I shut it off and then talk to you. Okay, so please keep in mind that the steps to get where we're at are very convoluted. But they're done with the intent to be honest and transparent and upfront and help you as much as possible. Since I've said the word regulation out there in that email yesterday, a few of you have come back and go, well, I can't find anything. What are you talking about? This is not something the average person is just going to go onto Google and go, regulation for Forex. You know, it's not going to happen that way. Okay? This is deep-seated stuff, and I'm going to explain to you what it looks like right now. And I'm going to cut away here so I can save this piece from me trying to do it again. All right. So you have an understanding of what happened just a little bit. You know, lawyers looked into the process, and I'm going to explain it all right now. Okay. So I paused the video too, so I can go get some coffee, because this is going to be a real page turner. And I'm going to try to explain this the best way I can without being condescending. In the United States, okay, because Forex itself is highly unregulated, okay? Throughout the world, there's no central agency or any one agency that governs the entire world of Forex, okay? But each country has its own regulation or non-regulation, okay? The U.S., for U.S. residents, sorry, the USR. I'm not even going to take that out. I'm going to keep that in there. So the USA has two main bodies that regulate Forex. But well, actually, they regulate commodities and indices and futures, which Forex sort of falls under in a very odd way. Okay? Now, the main company that does so, the governing body in the United States, a government network, is the Commodities and Futures Trading Commission, the CFTC. CFTC. All right? And these guys will create the regulation for the particular brokers and the traders and how everything is traded and what can happen, what can't happen, what legalities, what exemptions there are, all that kind of nonsense. There's like 50,000 pages. It's crazy. Okay? Now, I'm not going to show you the pages because I'm writing right now, but once I start showing you the pages, you'll see how intense it all gets to. The other is the NFA, which stands for the National Futures Association. Now, the connection between the two is that this is a governing body, and this is a basically a membership network that's a regulational network, but also the CFTC has deemed them as the regulatory body that guides and gauges every broker, okay, within the United States and outside. And what the CFTC says, in order for you to be able to trade commodities, futures, indices, and Forex with outside the U.S., the broker needs to be registered with the NFA. And they have to follow all the rules and regulations. But let's just talk about U.S. brokers at the moment. Okay? And U.S. brokers have to be registered with the NFA and pay their dues and follow all the rules and do all that stuff in order to be able to trade on with them. There's a couple companies already over here, and the bigger ones that you know, Forex.com, Oneida, Gain Capital, all those guys, they're registered here. Okay? Some of them have some legality issues, and you know, we'll do future videos on how to navigate the NFA's website and the CFTC website. But for now, you're just going to take my word for it. Now, the two governing bodies here that do that, the CFTC covers the action of trading, the NFA covers the broker for trading. These guys have made it very, very difficult for U.S. brokers to do anything. Now, this is where it's not speculation, it's by law, that a broker here has to follow a leverage maximum of 1 to 50, which if you've ever traded Forex, you know this becomes very difficult. They also follow a process that all U.S. regulated companies have to follow the no hedge network solution, which means that you can't hedge. You can't do a buy on one side and a sell on the other. And lastly, they make them follow a first in, first out rule base. What does this mean? Well, let's just say the market's going down and I decide to do a buy and it's failing. I want to do another buy and it's failing, or if I want to do another buy and it's failing. Once it gets to here, if this starts to bounce back up, I can't get out of the trade here. I have to actually go all the way back here and get out first before I get to this. First in, first out. So if this was the first trade that I got in and it was failing, I need to go back and take a loss here before I can take a win. That, or I have to wait until all the way gets past to here to get to my win numbers. You understand? So first in, first out. And why they do this, I have no idea. Maybe there's somebody out there who can explain it down in the comments, or send me an email at max@dextrader.com and let me know why FIFO is so effing important. Okay? To couple it with all this stuff, I feel like this is more of a stranglehold than anything else on every broker that's over here, to put so much legality and rules onto it that no retail trader could ever meet any decent amount of money with this process. Okay? So, we automatically know that there are several major rules. Now, the CFTC, if you are not engaged with the NFA as a broker, they have made it, guess what? Illegal to be able to trade with that broker. Now, there's two verses here, right? There's you and the broker. if the broker is not legal, because the CFTC and the NFA have said, hey, broker, if you're not registered with the NFA, you can't approach citizens of the United States. So the NFA you have to have that brand on your website, on your company, has to follow the rules, do the 1 to 50, the FI, the hedge, all that stuff, follow their minimum investment portfolio process, all the 50,000 rules that you got to follow with the NFA, follow all the guidelines of the SFTC. You got to do all that. And if you don't, as a broker, you can't solicit, work with, trade with, accept money from any U.S. citizen. Now, guess what? This doesn't mean there's a giant wall that's put between you automatically by the SFTC and you can't physically give them money and it bounces off. In contrary, you could still give that broker your money. You could still trade on that broker system. But it doesn't make it legal. It doesn't make it right. And what I mean by legal or right, what ramifications can come by you trading on that broker? Well, here's a couple of them. One, the CFTC and the NFA can come after you as aiding and abetting a criminal act. Because once they deem it, the broker, as creating a criminal act by soliciting you or trading with you, you then become the antagonist. You then become the person they're going to come after, because they can't go after the broker, especially if it's like some place like Trader's Way and these guys are over in Dominica, right? There's no way they're going to be able to go after these guys. And these guys are like, when I called Trader's Way to inform them, hey, this is a legal act, they're like, yeah, you could trade with us, there's no problem, they're never going to do that. But I said, are you sure? Are you sure that that's really going to happen? Are you sure that, because it says that it's illegal for you to be able to do, listen, you're part of the NFA and you're not part of the NFA. It's illegal for me to actually do business with you. And if it's illegal for me to do it and I knowingly break the law, I am aiding and abetting an act of a felony happening and therefore am a felon. Is that a possibility? The lawyers looked at the websites, the lawyers looked at the networks, and there are a few loopholes in the process, but this part of the law is very clear. And even though that there's no precedent yet for them showing somebody being arrested or being fined for this process that we could find as of yet, we're still looking, I wasn't going to be the first. So, issue number one. Working with Trader's Way was an issue. We didn't know that until just a couple of days ago. We weren't absolutely sure until yesterday. And we're not 100% sure as of right now, if it still is. We're waiting on process from the NFA to get back with us to see if there is any precedence, if anybody has been arrested, and can they shoot me over documents, or at least in the right direction of knowing where to go look. Okay? Because with this new, if there is ever a precedent set, this would affect millions and millions and millions of people that are trading with foreign companies. But we didn't want to take that chance. Issue number two, because that was a big one, right? Some of you are trading on live on Trader's Way. Now, because we're not, part of issue number one, too, also, by the way, is that part may be illegal, but there's another part of the process for us as a signal network or a copier service that may be an issue. Okay? And it has nothing to do with the broker in per se. It doesn't have anything to do with the broker. But the law is that the SFTC has stated, and the NFA has stated, that if you, as me personally, let's say this is Dex, okay? If you are, depending on the type of advice that you're giving and how you're administrating it, can be affected whether or not you need to be regulated or not. And that regulation comes in the form of two major things: a fiduciary license or a CTA registration. Now, the CTA is a commodities trading advisor, hence the word advisor. A fiduciary license is important because this means that you're actually physically making trades for people and giving them direct financial advice that could affect their portfolio system, okay, and helping them manage that and maintain that, okay? So this is like the end all. Yes, you could be a financial advisor, which is not a fiduciary, but you could be a financial advisor. And I'll probably do a video on what's the difference between a financial advisor and a fiduciary. But the CTA is where we kind of rub that line a little bit. And what is the difference? Well, the main difference is that if you as the client see our website and we have signals on it, and you decide to take one of those signals, are we giving you advice directly? And the answer is no, because our site doesn't say your name on it. It doesn't say, hey, Bob, go trade this. If I said to you, hey, Steve, go trade this, I'm now getting into that financial or that commodities trading advisor mentality, right? And there's one other small loophole from Forex compared to if I'm giving you futures advice or Forex advice, because the Forex side is only one little tiny part underneath the commodities and trading commission part. And it's done so even through a loophole within itself, right? Which is crazy. Again, remember, all this stuff is shrouded to create ambiguity. I can't even talk. It's made it to be ambiguous. I sound like Porky Pig. But it's made to sound ambiguous, so you just don't know. And I'm a pretty smart guy. My lawyers are pretty smart too. And they even have a hard time distinguishing whether or not it's legal or not legal. Okay? So first off, can we as an organization, are we legal? And if we give you just signals like we do for our basic signals and our other stuff, yes, this is absolutely legal. In fact, I can even set up a Forex signal system that says, here are some suggested prices to get. Here's your stop loss. Here's your take profit. If you were to get into this trade, you would have to, and then there would be a giant disclosure down here, blah, 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 blah. It's not all trading is like, like, trading, this is not real trades, and, this is only advice and futures. It's all the bullshit that you have to put on the website. But that's mandatory through the CFTC to keep me regulated. Okay? If I show results, I got to say not all results are blah, blah, blah. You may not make the same thing I'm making and all that kind of happy horse shit. So if I do it in this fashion to where you make the decision on what signals to take and do that, bueno. But now, if I get to a point where now Dex is in there copying the trade or doing the trades, physically trading the market, because this is just suggested trades to take on the market. I'm not physically taking these trades, okay? And this is physically taking the trades, and you're seeing me take the trades and you're copying the trades, but not automatically going to your system, then this is okay as well. To have a sheet where I'm taking the trade. So this is almost like an advanced version of signals. Now there's a third one. On the third one, we get Dex Effects Copy. Okay, that's physically making the trades on our network. Okay, and copying to yours. Let me redo that again so you get the arrows right. Okay, we're making the trades on our account, and then our account is making them to yours via our website. Okay, now this is even a little bit harder. Why? Because this falls under the fiduciary of making the trade that immediately affects your personal account. And would we have to be a fiduciary to be able to do that? And the answer is yes, we would have to be. Even if we created a system to where we said, hey, Bob, trade this trade, and you go, okay, I made this trade, this now falls under a CTA, Commodities Trading Advisor. And this becomes a small bit of legality that really happens. But guess what? This is all shrouded in one more piece of ambiguous piece. I'm going to get ambiguity. I'm not going to be able to say the word. Not today. All right. So this is all going to be shrouded. You'll see. Okay. And the big shroud is here. Does Forex fall under the jurisdiction of the CFTC and the NFA? Both futures and commodities. And the answer is yes and no. Yes to the fact that if you're dealing with a broker that deals with commodities, indices, and futures, and they also deal with Forex, you're shrouded under their law as well for that particular broker. But if you're using a broker that just deals with Forex, the answer is no. You're not governed by these particular processes. Therefore, you could not be hit with any issues. But the problem is, there's not many brokers that are not. And if there are any brokers overseas, like the binary companies, then you're in some issue. Okay? Now, as of a couple years ago, Nadex themselves got registered with the NFA and are regulated by the SFTC because on their website they deal with commodities, indices, and futures, but not in the form that you may think. Because they do it off track, basically, right? They don't affect the actual market. They're not buying the actual future, and you're not buying the actual future. You're just between a trade between you and another person, and they're engaging that, and they're saying, okay, this person won, this person lost, give them the money, and we'll give you this money. We take the money from you and give it to you and do that. They're just the exchange. They're not a broker. But because they're exchange, they still need to follow the laws of the NFA, and they did so because they're giving information on commodities and stocks, and they are following it and trying to keep the letter of what each stock and what each spot was, what all the contracts are. So they sort of follow these rules and regulations, which I'm okay with that. Now, what did we do when this all happened? Of course, we had to knock out completely with the process. And what are we planning to do? Well, the DexFX copy system needed to be stopped immediately until we were absolutely 100% sure that we are going after and getting a fiduciary license or the CTA license or CTA. If we do these, okay, and here's where the craziness comes in, our prices would have to increase through the roof to be able to cover the legality, to be able to cover the investigation, be able to cover all that stuff. We would have to charge so much that some of these bigger operating houses do. And that wasn't my thing. That wasn't what I wanted to get into. I wanted to help as many people as possible for as little as possible to get them get to their idea of success. Now, the majority of our people are in the United States. We have one or two people that are overseas. And if you're in the UK, there's no way that I can give you advice on trading copy. No way. You guys have almost just as many laws and regulations as we do. But if you're anywhere else in the world, you're free game. You're not governed by anything. And I could do basically say and do whatever I want at that particular point to only you. I mean, I could literally block out the entire website and just say all my signals win 100%. I could lie, I could cheat, I could do whatever I want. If you weren't in the UK, I mean, there's a couple other countries you have to be careful of, blah, 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 but it doesn't matter. I'm not going to be that way. Now, what are we planning to do? We're going to investigate for the next 2 weeks into the DexFX copy system. If it comes back, if it really does come back, it's going to come back either because if we're not 100% sure, and I'm talking 100%, absolutely, we've been given the green light by the SFTC or the NFA that we're exempt or what have you. I might even file for an exempt license or whatever, because you can even do that. You can even file with these companies because they want their money. The NFA, listen, by the way, the NFA and the CFTC, the CFTC is a governing body, right? So it's paid for by the taxpayers. The taxpayers pay their bills and do their things, right? The NFA is by membership only, okay? and the fines they assess, right? That's how they make their money. So they're going to want to find issue with you. There's even a thing that says you can file with us an exempt license to say, hey, I'm exempt from your bureaucracy. That's right. So when someone looks up your name, they can see that, hey, Dex Signals is exempt from any of that stuff. They're okay to use. All right? Isn't it weird? Because they want that money. You know, there's licenses and there's fees and there's all this investigation stuff in there to make sure you're exempt, blah, blah, blah. They investigate your site, your systems, your finances, they can tell you if you got prostate cancer. I don't know. Okay? So if we do that, we're going to go down that road, then, but I already know where we're legal at. I already know where we're 100% legal at, and that is the availability to give signals for Nadex to teach you also how to trade Forex. And this is never going to be an issue of teaching people how to trade Forex, as long as I don't say, you better go do this, this, and this, and this, and you have to follow, hey, Steve, you have to follow my rule, go do this, and I force you to do that. There's no way. Okay? So we're going to be able to give signals for Nadex, which we're always going to be able to do. We're going to be able to teach Forex. We're going to be able to make bots that are tools to trade Forex, as long as, okay, here's where the last little bit of legality comes in, as long as that information doesn't hold your account information and give it to me. Or Dex, I should say. Okay? So this tool cannot forward any information to me about you, except that unless I'm leasing it, and then the only information I can get is a leasing number, right? Is a security key. Is the only thing that it can float back to me to make sure that it's verified, which then I verify on the website and all that kind of stuff. And even in there, with the Freedoms of Information Act and all that stuff and all this new stuff that's coming out with securities and profit and all that stuff, what we have to have secure on the site and everything has nothing really to do with what happened yesterday, but just letting you know that all of our sites are compliant. Okay? So, now let's talk about compensation and reparations. And you have to know that in all of this, I didn't break any laws, because even though that it could be transpired to be illegal for me if it's fiduciary, if it's trading or what have you, nobody knows for sure. And I erred on the side of caution. And I didn't really err at all. I stayed with this side of caution because I didn't want to take a chance that I could cost the entire company, that all these people make money and all these people that are here, that, you know, there's 3 or 4 of us that are dependent upon this. This is our main source of living. Okay? It's helping people get to their idea of their success and training them on how to do all these things. And I trade. Okay? So as we proceed forward, compensation for all you that are in DexFX Copy right now, every single one of you will get access to everything we have on this system, whatever you want. You're going to get an all-inclusive license to everything on Dex Trader. That means all of our indicators, all of our training, all of our Nadex systems and Forex trading systems that are on board. You'll get access to the Forex member portal, Simply Forex, the bots, everything you will get. That's reparations number 1. You'll get an all-inclusive license to everything we have, whether you want it or not. Okay? Now, this is compensating for some of you that you started with a demo account. And getting this all-inclusive license and all that stuff, because we provided a service, I don't even have to do this. I don't have to do this. I could just say, okay, we're no longer going to provide the service and we're stopping that solution. And within the terms and conditions of providing a service we were trying to provide, whether it was good or not is your interpretation to our interpretation. We could say, no, we don't want to do anything to, give you compensation for the lack of services being developed from this point on. But everything up there we were providing a service for. So if you tried to go after get money back and do refunds and all that stuff, we would win. And I don't want that to happen. I don't want to play that game. I want to give all your money back from everything that was lost, okay, from every part of the system. But can we do that? And the answer is no. Okay? Because we'd be setting a precedence that wouldn't be right. But one thing is for sure. Under your demo, if you started in demo, you're going to get all these services. I will bend over backwards to help you figure out what it is if you physically can trade, right? I have some of you that got into the DexFX copy because you just can't be a part of that and trade and do all that stuff. If you get into anything else, I have a marketing firm, I have knowledge about setting up websites and businesses. If you ever have any questions about setting up anything in the future, or if something's legitimate, or if I know anything, if you got a question you just don't know an answer to, I probably have a solution for you. Okay? You can write and call me at any time you want at that point, as long as I can help you. Okay? I'm not a brain surgeon. I'm not going to be able to cure cancer for you, or what have you. Okay? So if you don't want to be a part of the Dex Trader side of it, I don't know what to tell you from this point on. If you started the demo side, if you started on demo and you traded just demo, okay? And I know who you are. There's only a handful of you that started with a live account, or didn't start, but transferred to live accounts just recently. Now, trading to a live account, if you traded to a live account, here's what's going to happen. For your fees that you started in the very beginning with, at however much you paid plus your monthlies, forever, all inclusive to everything we have on the website. Now that's pretty damn good. You paid $175 or $299, whatever you spent, whatever it was, $47 a month, okay, whatever it was, you're going to get all inclusive pricing forever on the website. And that means anything that we got coming out. All right? So keep that in mind. That's huge to begin with. And I don't even need to do that. I'm not trying to be a dick, but I'm telling you, it's I have a partner right now that's like, why are we even doing that? We really tried too. We're in the same boat as everybody else. Well, because I want you to know that this was never about the money for me. This was never about just getting a whole bunch of people in to try something that may work or not work. I really felt it was going to work, and I thought we had everything behind us on it. So, if you have started with live, pay attention. Or if you didn't start with live, but if you graduated to live account and you lost money, okay? Or if, let's just say, let's start with, if you made money, don't worry, there's no percentage fees afterwards, okay? Whatever you made, thank you very much, and I hope you're satisfied with that process. There's 4 of you that did, because you got in at a certain time that the system was making money right before we closed it, and you got out and everything was great, okay? Some of you got in a little bit later when it started to not make money, and you guys lost money. So if you guys that lost money, okay, let me get you back to there. For you guys that lost money, and here's what it is, right? It's only what's in there right now that we have found. We've already secured exactly who it was. We already know exactly how much everybody lost up to that point, even before we shut them off. We knew exactly how much everybody lost. So don't come back and be like, I lost $10,000. No, we know exactly. So if you lost money, you're going to get that money back. Now, it's going to take us about 30 days to get it back to you. And why? What, you know, it took me 10 seconds to put it in your PayPal account. Why couldn't you just give them back? Because there's certain things that I have to do first to be able to put this money into a process that is called a reparations solution for you. Okay, and it has to go into an escrow account, has to come from my company, because I'm an LLC, okay, and an investment firm. And the money has to flow to the right spot so it doesn't look like I'm laundering money and just floating money all over the goddamn place. Okay? And I have to earmark this. I have to send notes to the bank. I have to set up a complete account. I have to put whoever we're sending it to into that name, that it's following through, that it's not pay going back to you, but reparations for the trading side of it and what it's used for and what it's deemed as. So this could take up to 30 days. My accountant says this could take 15 days. He could say 3 days. Whatever it is going to be, it is. So we're going to set up each account. There's several of them that we're going to do, and we have to set up an account for each one and send it over to it, do that process. Okay, whether either through check or through direct deposit or through PayPal, I don't know. I don't know what I don't know yet. Okay? So whatever you lost through that process, there's even two people. Okay, this is how bad it is, right? There's even two people that came in and you didn't follow my advice. You started off a live account and you put on, I think it was like a multiplier of 4 onto the system. And so you would have lost 4 times as much money as somebody who came on and did live as well at the same time who did 1. And I'm still giving you your money back. Do I have to? No. In fact, I probably shouldn't because you didn't follow the rule of not starting with live and not starting with 4 in the lot multiplier when I told you to start with 1. This was greed happening. And if you're watching this and you know who you are, I'm sorry, but this is greedy. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be transparent, and I'm also going to scold you when you do wrong. But yeah, I'm going to take care of you too. You'll get the all-inclusive price for everything else. But yeah, I'm going to give this back to you as well. And we part ways at that point. Whether or not you want to stay with the company, learn how to trade, do all that, or you just go and find something else. Completely up to you. And I got to tell you, this adventure to try to get DexFX Copy going has been tough on me. But it's been worth it because I have found out so much about this market and this industry and where I need to focus the real light now. And let's end with that. Let's end with, where is Max going with Dex? Max is going to learn and build the systems that are going to trade Nadex. We're going to really focus on this. We're really going to push the Nadex narrative, okay? Because if this is the only company in the United States, and I got to be honest with you, that has a derivative, that has this process that is so unique, then I want to focus a lot of my energies on it. Because originally I was pulling back because I thought we had a wide open field. Because here's Nadex. And here's Forex. Okay? And this is not even clear representation. I could probably just go, there's Nadex. And this, from this distance to this distance, would be one universe. Right? So you got to understand, the scale, simply just the scale of the possibility of making money, I felt was so huge here that it dwarfed this poor little tiny Nadex guy. Okay? So I started to pull away from that to focus more so on Nadex and get that process going. But what I didn't realize, that this is Forex, that's Nadex, and here's the US trading market. Because they have it scrimped down so much with all regulations. They got these big, giant, huge companies regulating that tiny little process. And we as retail traders here in the United States can't get into, I don't care if you keep telling me there's a $5 trillion a day market and how can that happen? It's, whether you believe it's bullshit or not, it's still there. So, I'm about 33 minutes into this thing. I'm finished. Thank you very much for your time. If you have any questions, you have any problems whatsoever, you could try calling the shop. You could try calling the number on the site. You can reach me at max@dextrader.com to let me know what you think. And I hope it's positive. I hope we keep moving forward. I hope we can keep doing business. This is your last DexFX Copy update until I see something happening. Oh, and before I go, I had one customer say, you're just stopping this because the bot's failing. And the answer is, no, I'm not. The bot's not failing. Yes, did it fall below 0%? Because remember, we're just starting out with that process? Absolutely. But is the bot failing? And the answer is no. It's evidenced by the history itself in the amount that it's made today and over the last 4 days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, 5 days that it's been trading. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, not even finished out for the day. Okay? So no, we're back in the positive. We're up well above where we were before. And should I have it keep going? The answer is no. This system's continue going to run. This is from me personally now that I can do it on. I can teach you how to trade to this level. I can show you and point you how to manage this bot and make it all work to that part of the process and show this as evidence that it does work. But it takes time and efforts and everything else to get there. It's unfortunate, but it has to happen. So I appreciate all your time. I appreciate you hit me out for this entire thing here. And if you fast forward to the end, thank you very much for your time. I look forward to seeing you inside. And as always, trade well.